Welcome to Speak Up and Stay Alive Radio, how to survive hidden healthcare and hospital dangers with author, speaker, and your host, Pat Rulo. Pat has over 20 years experience as a professional public speaker, and for the next hour, she's going to be your healthcare and hospital survival guide. Each week, you will say, oh, as Pat exposes and explores little-known hospital hazards, delves into the deep waters of dangerous healthcare practices, picks the brains of her good-looking and influential guests, all guaranteed to keep you and your family safe in today's fragmented healthcare system. The Speak Up and Stay Alive radio program is intended to advance health literacy by making you aware of healthcare and hospital dangers. The program is for informational purposes only and is not intended for use as diagnosis or treatment of a health problem or as a substitute for consulting a licensed medical professional. Participating as a program listener, guest, or caller should not be considered medical advice. References to any entity, product, service, website, or source of information should not be considered as an endorsement. And now your host, Pat Rulo.
I can't bear again no more, baby. I got too much pride. But I'll survive.
Hello, I am Pat Rulo, and I'm so happy to hostess this next hour where I will serve you a generous helping of everything you need to know to help you and your loved ones stay safe during any doctor or hospital visit. Who am I? I am you. I am every person who has ever been in a hospital or doctor's office and has received less than acceptable treatment. I am you, the patient who got an infection during a simple outpatient procedure. I am you, the patient whose questions are ignored, who struggles to speak to the doctor as he or she has one foot out the door. I am the missed heart attack, the hospital-acquired infection, the wrong diagnosis, and the unanswered call button. This show is not about pointing a finger at hospitals, doctors, or nurses. It's not about a political agenda or party preferences. It's about you, your family, your friends, and your loved ones. It's about becoming informed of all the hospital hazards, what they are, how and why they happen, and what you can do about them. This show is about empowerment. It's about doing everything you can to stay safe during any and every healthcare encounter. Speak Up and Stay Alive Radio, yes, that's OH, with an exclamation point, will cause you to say, oh, as each week we delve into little-known hospital and healthcare dangers. When you understand why something happens, you are better equipped to do something about it and prevent it from happening to you. If enough people begin to speak up, together, each of us can alter the current precarious path of today's unsafe healthcare practices. Well, I hope you are in a festive mood today. I know we are. This show is jam-packed with information that you need to know to stay safe. Plus, we will take you with us to a holiday party. Lots of jokes, fun, frivolity, festivities. So pour yourself a large glass of eggnog, sit back, relax, and enjoy the next hour with me. But to get serious, let's discover the hospital hazard of the week. Miscommunication. Enter any hospital and you see the same thing. Doctors, nurses, and orderlies running in and out of rooms, back and forth through hallways, up and down elevators with hundreds of papers, files, and charts. Visitors and guests roam the floors. It's a stressful and chaotic environment. Add long hours, exhaustion, and constant unexpected situations, interruptions, and distractions, and you have a mistake waiting to happen. With thousands of patients entering and exiting the hospital on a daily basis, it becomes easy for hospitals to sometimes mix up charts or read the chart or prescription incorrectly. If a patient has multiple doctors, there could also be miscommunication as to who is handling which treatment. That means you could be treated twice or not treated at all. The Joint Commission issued a report titled, "What Did the Doctor Say?" that addresses another noteworthy area of concern. Health literacy issues and ineffective communications place patients at greater risk of preventable adverse events. Health literacy is defined as the capacity to obtain, process, and understand basic health information needed to make appropriate health decisions. Most Americans fall into the intermediate level of literacy, yet healthcare information such as insurance forms and consent forms and medication instruction is often very complex, made worse by sickness and feelings of vulnerability. At the end of every shift, the outgoing nurses sit down with the incoming ones for 10 to 15 minutes to discuss their patient's care. This is their opportunity to share the important events of the shift, patient's conditions and symptoms, or important test results. This is called a change of shift report, better known as the handoff. There's a scary collapse in communication during patient handoffs. The majority of serious medical errors involve miscommunication during these transfers. Anytime you have a change of staff or scenery, for example, from the emergency department to surgery, from intensive care to a patient room, those transitions of care are also considered handoffs. Here's an interesting note. An estimated 80% of serious preventable adverse events occur when patient care is transferred or handed off, because important information can get lost or garbled in transition. One study estimated that in a typical teaching hospital, there are 4,000 patient handoffs every day, or 1.6 million per year. When you think about those staggering numbers, you get an idea of how many opportunities there are for miscommunication. That kind of reminds me of the old telephone game. By the time the message passed through several people, it was completely different from the original, and that made everyone laugh hysterically. Only this time, it's no laughing matter. So how does it happen? Miscommunication can happen when a doctor gets interrupted or distracted, or when the staff is overworked and tired, when there's a high patient-to-nurse ratio, or because of something as simple as sloppy handwriting. Too many people involved with care can cause a lack of continuity. An example of miscommunication between doctor's orders and the dietary staff occurred with regularity during my mom's 4-month hospital stay. She developed a swallowing disorder and required that a thickener be added to her drinks. She was a high risk for what was called aspiration pneumonia. That's when food or liquids are breathed into the lungs or the airways leading to the lungs. Because of this, the use of a drinking straw was prohibited. Using a straw would have encouraged a quick and direct deposit of liquid straight to her lungs. Well, morning after morning, a straw arrived with her breakfast tray, even though right on the menu card that came with the meal, which said in big letters, "No straw." This could have been a deadly mistake. I even took a picture of it. Weeks later, at the rehabilitation center, the straw situation continued. Every morning, I found a glass of unthickened water with an open straw brought in by the night nurse. Despite taping a sign to the bed tray, I could not solve the straw problem. Somehow, that goes way beyond miscommunication and enters the realm of negligence. Miscommunication can also be caused by personality and attitudes. High-level doctors and surgeons or arrogant nurses can sometimes be intimidating by appearing bothered or responding with anger when approached for clarifications and questions. This can result in a lack of information transfer in an effort not to bother so-and-so. Here are 6 ways to protect yourself. 1. Determine early on who is responsible and in charge of your care and clear all new proposals with this person. 2. If you cannot understand the language or the accent of the person speaking to you, or if you need an interpreter, ask for one before you consent for testing, medications, or procedures. 3. If you're having surgery, ask to meet your lead anesthesiologist. This person should be with you before, during, and after surgery to ensure continuity of care. 4. To avoid handoff miscommunication, ask your nurse to tell the next nurse about a problem or request you might have, or tell the incoming nurses yourself about any concerns or symptoms you have. If your room has a message board, write notes to your doctor or nurse so they see it upon entering your room. Or you might be asleep or forget those thoughts when they come in, so write them down in a prominent place. If your room does not have a message board, ask your advocate to bring one in for you. In the meantime, keep a list by your bed. This way, you can ask all of your questions at one time. Have someone stay with you to act as your advocate, another set of eyes, ears, and mouth to check and clarify details. And 6, bring my book, Speak Up and Stay Alive, and the patient safety logs with you to the hospital for reference. Knowing what to look for can help lessen the chance for miscommunication mishaps. And with that, let's hear some legal news you can use. Well, today I'm with my friend Allison Mance McMeechan from Schraff and King Attorneys located on Som Center Road in Willoughby Hills, Ohio. Let's spend the next 2 minutes and talk with Allison about last wills and testaments. Welcome to the show, Allison.
Thank you for having me, Pat.
Allison, so many folks know that they need a will and testament Explain a little bit more about that. What is a will? Why does someone need one?
Pat, a last will and testament is a written document setting forth your wishes with respect to your property and how you wish to have that property disposed of at your passing. The last will and testament sets forth where your estate would go. So whether you want your assets to pass to a spouse or to children or non-relatives, you can specifically set forth your wishes in your last will and testament. The last will and testament also allows you to appoint an executor, and the executor is the person who's going to be responsible for managing your affairs after you pass away. If you don't have a will, there is a statute or a law in Ohio that says what happens with your estate if you don't have a last will and testament. It's referred to as intestate succession. And what that says is if you have a spouse and no children, your assets pass to your spouse. And it goes down the line of your next of kin, including children if you have any, grandchildren. And if you don't have any children or grandchildren, we go up to the next level of parents and siblings. So without a will, you don't have the ability to state who's going to receive your assets when you die. You also don't have the ability to appoint someone to administer your estate if you don't have a last will and testament. And in that case, it's going to fall to whoever applies to be your administrator and whoever the court determines to be suitable.
So should everyone have a last will and testament in place? And how would they go about getting one?
Yes, I think that everyone should have a last will and testament. It's important that you are in charge of determining how your assets are going to pass upon your death. And if you are interested in a last will and testament, you should see an attorney who is skilled in preparing those.
Well, Allison, how can our listeners find out more about you, Schraff and King, and perhaps their last will and testament?
We can be reached at 440-585-1600. They can also visit our website at www.schraffking.com.
Thank you for being with us today, Allison. You always have such good information for us.
Thank you for having me, Pat.
After the show, be sure to visit the website, speakupandstayalive.com, for more life-saving information. Plus, that's where you can purchase the book, Speak Up and Stay Alive, The Patient Advocate Hospital Survival Guide. Bring the book to the hospital with you. It's the best way to stand out, and in a positive way. And remember, we donate 2 handmade pillowcases to either a troop member in Afghanistan or to a local veterans shelter for every book sold, with your name on it as the donor. So for a mere $20, you benefit, and so does some well-deserving warrior. And with the holidays around the corner, don't send the routine shirt that doesn't fit or some stinky cologne. Give a meaningful and useful gift that really says, I care. Give the gift of healthcare safety. Purchase the book, the patient safety logs, and throw in some of those icebreaker cards. It's a one-size-fits-all present that everybody needs. You can order online at speakupandstayalive.com, or you can request by email at speakupandstayalive.com, or call me 440-725-5462. And now, back to the show. Right now, we have someone quite unique in the studio. Lisa Venn, owner of Advocate Alliance in Cleveland, Ohio, an attorney, patient advocate, hospital advisor, and author. As an attorney, Lisa specializes in patient rights, grievance regulation, and conflict resolution. As the principal owner of Advocate Alliance, she helps patients and their advocates understand their rights and what to do if they are violated. Lisa also helps healthcare providers understand their responsibilities, especially related to responding to patient complaints. She is the author of the book titled Improving Patient Experience, 50 Things Every Advocate Must Know, and Professional's Guide to Resolving Patient Grievances, which are available at Amazon.com. She has been on all sides of the healthcare continuum. She's seen it all and is here today to share some of her suggestions on how we can improve our experiences as a patient. Welcome, Lisa. Thank you for being here.
It's nice to be here, Pat. Thanks for having me.
Lisa, since your experience has cast such a wide and sweeping net when it comes to all sides of healthcare, what has changed in the last 22 years during your experience?
Pat, the patient has become more sophisticated, wanting to know, want to be an informed consumer. We're seeing the baby boomers now in the older generation, and they want information. 22 years ago, folks were not as empowered as they are today. It's an exciting time.
Thank you. I agree with that. Both of the titles of your book and my book use the word advocate, and the word literally means the voice for. And within the healthcare context, we both mean the voice for the patient. There's no doubt that every hospital patient needs an advocate, and that's what this show is all about, to expose and explain little-known healthcare hazards. And advocacy is also the premise of your book. In my book, I refer to an advocate more as a family member, a friend, or a hired sitter, even though I do explain about private healthcare navigators and hospital-employed patient advocates. But in your book, when you refer to advocates, are you talking more about professional patient advocates? And if so, who are they?
Well, Pat, I'm actually talking about both. Even a patient can advocate for him or herself, patient's family, loved one, neighbor. I'm also talking about the professional advocate. Those can be anyone from a hospital-paid advocate or somebody that an individual hires on their own to shepherd them through the experience.
I think sometimes people get confused when they see patient advocate at the hospital, not knowing that that person is hired by the hospital.
And that's a very important distinction. The hospital does, in fact, pay the advocates. So while they can be helpful, it has to be recalled that they do work for the hospital. Ideally, one would have an advocate that works specifically for the patient.
So when people hire an advocate to stay with them during a hospital stay, or to even attend a doctor's office visit, or help them otherwise navigate the healthcare system, what should they be looking for?
Well, Pat, it's important to know that advocates are not licensed by the state. They're not like registered nurses or social workers. So one has to be very careful when choosing their advocate. Certainly ask for references and follow up on those before hiring an advocate.
So anybody could consider themselves or call themselves a patient advocate without any type of regulation or following any type of rules?
Absolutely. Anyone can hang a shingle. So folks need to be very cautious because it's possible that somebody with the wrong state of mind could want to take advantage of an individual hiring a patient advocate. So a daughter hiring an advocate for her elderly mother might want to be careful because that individual, that advocate, will have access to the patient's financial and medical information. So the choice has to be made very carefully.
And that's interesting because during that time, you're kind of in crisis mode and probably going to grab onto just anybody that seems comforting to you. So it's very important to make sure that you do your due diligence before you hire a patient advocate.
Absolutely. I think references are key.
So let's talk about the patient experience. What is being done to improve the patient experience today?
The patient experience has taken on a life of its own, and that really has to do with the way that Medicare pays for hospital care now. In the past, Medicare essentially paid for all bills that were put out by the providers. Now, Medicare will start reimbursing hospitals based on patient satisfaction survey scores. Not entirely, but in part. So hospitals are very motivated to keep those scores up because ultimately it affects their bottom line. That being said, hospitals are really making an effort to make sure that the patient experience is positive. So that is ultimately reflected in the survey results.
The Speak Up and Stay Alive radio opinion poll this week was on this very subject of how hospital reimbursement is now tied to patient satisfactions based on survey results. What do you think of this? Do you think it'll actually improve the patient experience?
I think it has. I've seen just with my own mother taking her through a hospital experience recently, the way she was treated this time was much more improved than, say, 5 years ago. She had several people come in, ask her if she wanted something to drink. Was she comfortable? Did she need a blanket? And I was thrilled to see that. It was a big improvement over the last 5 years. And I do believe that that's motivated by these survey results and the relationship to payment.
We're talking about healthcare quality. Where can our listeners find information that they can use as a resource regarding healthcare quality?
A really good source is a hospitalcompare.gov website, and that is sponsored by Medicare. Those surveys that I talked about, the results are posted for each hospital in the country, and a consumer can literally choose 3 hospitals to compare the results. So those questions asked of patients are tabulated and put out for all to see. That's a really good place to start.
And what was that site again?
That's Medicare Hospital Compare.gov.
.gov, G-O-V. All right, let's ask a couple questions here that are kind of personal. If you or a loved one were preparing for a hospital visit, what would your concerns be?
Actually, it's a very timely question. I just shepherded my mom through a lengthy hospital stay. One of the concerns, or rather something I would recommend that everyone do, is make sure that an individual from the family or a neighbor come and visit every day. I made sure that I was there upon admission, that one of my sisters was there each and every day, especially at the time where the doctor was most likely to visit, because having a second set of ears to hear those instructions or the diagnoses turned out to be very important. So I think hands-on is extremely important. I was sure to introduce myself to the staff each time I came.
That's so valuable to know. So it's very important to have an advocate and bring somebody with you, an extra set of eyes and ears and a mouth, basically, to speak for you.
Especially on the weekends, because there does tend to be a tendency to withhold or not have, say, physical therapy in place over the weekends. And with my mom's case, she really needed that every day, and it was ordered for every day. So I made sure to come on the weekends to make sure that those type of services were in place, even though it was Saturday and Sunday.
Well, you and I are in total agreement. I even talk about that in my book. There's a little bit of information on physical therapy. And because when my mom was in the hospital, I experienced the same thing, that if I wasn't there to keep track of that, sometimes it wouldn't take place. So very important to have an advocate to do that. So if you were preparing for a hospital stay, what would you pack?
Well, after reading your book, Pat, I would make sure to bring sanitizing wipes and the like. I think your suggestions were excellent as far as getting there first and foremost and literally wiping down those surfaces. I have a new respect for that idea.
I tell folks I go in like hazmat, don the gloves and get the Clorox wipes. And all right, nobody touch anything until I clean the room.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, what do you think are the most two important things that you want our listeners to take away today?
Well, number one is that it's extremely important to know one's rights. It's very empowering to be able to say, for instance, to a hospital provider that I understand that my mom, say perhaps, has a right to physical therapy and that's been ordered every day. That is a very empowering way to put that, to make sure that service is in place. So I think that's the main point I'd like to get across, that patient rights are the law, and knowing the law is very empowering for all advocates and patients alike.
How can our listeners either contact you or learn more about what you do and what you have to offer?
Well, my book is available at Amazon.com, and I can be reached by the internet as well. AdvocateAlliance.net.
AdvocateAlliance.net.
Correct.
And I'm going to encourage everybody to reach out to Lisa and look on her website and get a copy of her book, because there's 50 things, it says 50 things every advocate must know. And I found myself saying, oh, I didn't know that. So it was quite enlightening to me. Well, thank you, Lisa, for being here today. You've shed a lot of light on a very important topic, and we invite you to come back.
Well, it was my pleasure. Thank you, Pat.
Lisa will be back in the coming weeks, because it just wouldn't be fair of me to deprive you from some of the little-known rights we as patients actually have, but don't even know about. So keep listening and check the SpeakUpAndStayAlive.com website for Lisa Venn's return dates.
We interrupt our program to bring you a special broadcast.
I'll get more dummy than I ever got from you.
Let's spend the next 2 minutes with our resident cleaning and infection preventionist, Darrel Hicks, consultant and author of the book, Infection Prevention for Dummies. Welcome to the show, Darrel.
Good to be here, Pat.
Darrel, how do hospitals measure clean, and How should we measure clean when we enter our hospital room?
Well, there's always the visual and the idea of the old white glove inspection. So if you just get a white washcloth and if you wipe the bed rail on the patient's bed and it comes up some color other than white, then you may have a dirty room. I would use that white washcloth and just go around and test some of those high-touch surfaces. And if it's turning that cloth any color other than white, then you may have a problem. So that is one way. Instead of the white glove, it's the white washcloth. And you can even do it on the floor. But if it's coming up dirty, then I would call and ask that someone re-clean the room or you get a different room. But in the housekeeping department, we have ATP meters that measures the amount of soil on the surface after it's cleaned, and there are certain parameters that should fall under. If it's higher than that, then we have that surface re-cleaned. We use fluorescent markers that are invisible to the naked eye and then show up under a black light, so you can write today's date on there and put a black light on there, and you can only see it with the black light. And then the inspector will come back the following day, 24 hours later, and if the marker is gone, then that means someone has wiped it. That's a way of checking to make sure that the room is getting cleaned as it should.
Well, this is very revealing information, no pun intended. So yeah, the white washcloth method. Thank you for that tip. I know many of our listeners will take you up on that. Thank you, Darrel. How can we learn more about you and your book, Infection Prevention for Dummies?
My website is www.darrelhicks.com. That is Darrel, DARRELHICKS.com. You can find out how to get in touch with me or order the book there.
Well, thank you, Darrel. I encourage our listeners to check out your website and your book, and your blog has lots of excellent information. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Pat.
I get more from that dumb dummy than I ever got from you. Yeah, I get more from a dummy than I get from you.
This is your favorite show, Speak Up and Stay Alive Radio, and I am your hostess, Pat Rouleau, where the boys and I work hard to keep you informed and safe from any healthcare and hospital encounter. Well, if you know us, you know that we love to do live events, and it looks like it's going to be a crazy crowd here today. We're at a holiday party. Let me make my way through this crowd. Excuse me. Hey, how are you? And Merry Christmas to you. Thanks. Hi there. Happy Hanukkah. Good to see you again. Easy breezy. Well, the holidays must bring out the fun side of our listeners. At Thanksgiving, we received some crazy turkey jokes, and I guess December is going to be the same. So once again, let's try to get to some of these. And as Joe said last time, don't shoot the messenger. We did not write these. All right, Joe, what do we got?
All right, here's from an email. Did you hear that Santa fell and went into the hospital and lost his whole left side?
Oh no, what happened?
Well, it doesn't matter. He's all right now.
Who sent that? Okay, I've got one that someone sent in. Santa was in the hospital recovering from surgery, and the nurse stopped in to ask how he was feeling. I'm okay, said Santa, but I didn't like the 4-letter word the doctor used in surgery. What did he say? Asked the nurse. Oops. Okay, and I have another one. This happened to me last year. My Jewish friend's mother gave me 2 sweaters for Hanukkah. The next time I visited, I made sure to wear one. As I entered her home, instead of the expected smile, she said, "Oi, what's the matter? You didn't like the other one."
Oh, that's too much.
Oh, and by the way, Joe, your mustache and beard are looking good.
I didn't like my beard at first. Then it grew on me.
right, do we have any more?
Oh, yeah. Judy from Gold Canyon emailed this. England has no kidney bank, but it does have a Liverpool.
Oh, that's fun. Bob, did you like that?
Oh, that was great.
Come on, Bob. Hey, Bob, when you get a bladder infection, guess what?
You're in trouble.
Get it, Joe? You're in trouble. Okay, Santa went to the doctor complaining about a terrible leg pain. Oh, it's just old age, replied the doctor. There's nothing we can do about it. How can that be? Fumed Santa. You don't know what you're saying. Well, how can you possibly know I am wrong? Countered the doctor. Well, it's quite obvious, Santa replied. My other leg is fine, and it's the exact same age. Speaking of going to the doctor, I went to get a blood test, and they told me I had type A, but it was a typo. All right, here's a bunch of doctor jokes sent in by Emily's mom in Canada. Wow, she must be an internet listener. All right, Joe, will you be the doctor?
Okay.
All right, remember that skit we did last summer? You were Dr. Joe, and I was Patient Pat. All right, here we go. Doctor, with all the excitement of Christmas, I can't sleep.
Oh, try lying on the edge of your bed. You'll soon drop off.
Doctor, I keep thinking I'm a Christmas bell.
Just take these pills, and if they don't work, give me a ring.
Doctor, I'm scared of Father Christmas.
Don't worry, you're suffering from claustrophobia.
Bob, you like that one, Bob?
Oh, that's too much.
Doctor, can I have a second opinion?
Of course, come back tomorrow.
Doctor, will this ointment clear up my spots?
I never make rash promises.
Doctor, what did the x-ray of my head show?
Absolutely nothing.
Same thing to whoever sent these. Oh, and here's one from a new nurse in Cleveland. My first day working at a nursing home, I heard a doctor yelling, typhoid, tetanus, measles. So I asked another nurse, why is he doing that? And she replied, he just likes to call the shots around here. All right, guys, here's a medical question. When they take out an appendix, it's called an appendectomy. When they remove your tonsils, it's called a tonsillectomy. What is it when they remove a growth from your head?
I have no idea.
A haircut.
Oh, my gosh.
All right, Samina from Texas sent this. Pat, I rushed my son to the emergency room last week after he swallowed 2 quarters. The nurse came into the room to check on him. I asked her, Nurse, is there any news? She turned as she was leaving the room and answered, sorry, no change. Oh, any more, Joe?
Oh, yeah. An honest politician and Santa Claus were walking down the street and saw a $20 bill. Which one picked it up?
Oh, I don't know. What do you think, Bob?
Santa Paws?
Santa paused? I don't know. What is it, Joe?
Santa. The other doesn't exist. There's no honest politician.
Oh, that's good. Are there any more?
Oh, yeah. How does Santa take pictures?
I have no idea.
I don't either.
He uses a North Polaroid.
Oh.
All right, what did Santa say to Mrs. Claus when he looked out the window?
I have no idea.
Oh, no, I'm stumped.
Looks like rain, dear.
That's all right.
What do elves call it when Santa claps his hands?
What do you think, Bob? What?
Santa applause.
Oh, Santa applause.
Santa applause.
Santa applause. That's good.
What do you call Santa after he has come down the chimney?
Probably a dirty old man.
Cinder Claus.
Oh, Cinder Claus.
What do you call Santa when he has no money?
Broke.
Poor Santa.
Saint Nicholas.
Oh, that's good. St. Nicholas. All right.
What do you get if Santa comes down the chimney while the fire is still burning?
Oh, no.
I have no idea.
Hot mess. I don't know.
Crisp Kringle.
Crisp Kringle. Okay. Here's something that happened. Bob and I were at the mall last week, and we were walking by a pet store, and this young boy stopped his mom. He goes, can I have a puppy for Christmas? And she said, certainly not. You'll have turkey like everyone else. Any more?
Yeah. What did the bald man say when he got a comb for Christmas?
When he got a comb for Christmas? Here it is.
No. Thanks, I'll never part with it.
All righty.
What happens if you eat the holiday decorations?
Oh, I don't know.
I have no idea, Joe.
You get tinselitis.
Oh, tinselitis. I've got one. What did Adam say on the day before Christmas? It's Christmas Eve. That's a good one. All right, here's a story about Rudolph's medical bill. It was sent by Jack, the medical student. Santa Claus brings poor Rudolph to the vet. He says to the vet, "Doctor, please do something for my Rudolph. His nose won't light up." The vet walks out of the room and returns with a pet carrier. He places the pet carrier next to the reindeer, opens it, and out steps a cat. The cat walks around the reindeer and sniffs it. Then the cat walks back into the carrier. The animal doctor takes it out of the room and returns. He hands Santa Claus the bill. Santa gasps. $350? You didn't do anything for my poor Rudolph, and you're charging me $350? The vet shrugged and replied, "That's the usual charge. $50 for the office visit and $300 for the CAT scan." Oh, that's actually not bad. Any more?
All right, yeah, this has got to be the final one.
Okay.
All right, knock, knock.
Who's there?
Dewey.
Dewey who?
Do we have to keep telling these jokes?
Oh, no. No, we don't. You guys are good sports. We're just reading what we get. And remember, though, laughter is a tranquilizer with no negative side effects. Woohoo! Well, with laughter in mind, don't go anywhere, Bob. I think it's time for the most requested radio show game of all time, at least according to my calculations.
Oh, Fear the Wheelchair.
Yes, Joe. By now, everybody knows the wheelchair is a high-touch, highly contaminated vehicle capable of spreading infections all over the place. So the wheelchair is now this show's representation of all hospital dangers, kind of like our mascot. So here we go. Our favorite game of...
Fear the Wheelchair.
Do we have our Christmas sounds ready?
Oh, yeah.
Ho, ho, and no, no?
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. So listen as Joe reads some right or wrong statements. Then join Bob as we test your skills. Is the question right? Or is it wrong?
No.
All right.
All right, sorry. I had no idea that we were Fear the Wheelchair. I thought another joke was coming before that. So anyway.
This is a joke.
Right or wrong. The norovirus is a gastrointestinal virus most often associated with cruise ships.
What do you think, Bob?
I think that's right.
Do you agree, Joe?
Sure.
Sure.
I'm thinking of it as a joke. I'm sorry. I'm not thinking.
No, it's not a joke. The norovirus is very serious. It's a very contagious virus that can infect anyone. You could get it from an infected person, contaminated food or water, or by touching contaminated surfaces. Anywhere you have lots of people and confined to a specific space, all touching surfaces, not washing hands. Think Scrabble games, poker chips, playing cards.
Oh,
gosh.
Jeez. Oh, and by the way, because Bob was correct.
Oh, that's right.
I don't
want to miss a hoe.
No. Right or wrong, more than 85 drugs may interact with grapefruit.
What do you say, Bob?
I'm going to say that's right.
No.
Oh, well, I think it is right, actually. What?
Really? Mine says no.
What the heck?
I don't have answers.
All right, guys, whatever. Always know the name of your medications, what they're for, their side effects, and ask if anything interacts with them, such as grapefruit, alcohol, or other drugs. It's up to us to know how to take our medications properly.
All right, here's another one. You guys make me cringe all the time. Right or wrong, you can catch the herpes virus, among other things, if you share lipstick.
What do you think, Bob?
I'd say that's true.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's not a wise idea, and be sure to replace your lipstick and other makeup every few months. Makeup and makeup brushes can harbor bacteria, so wash your hands before applying makeup. Wash and air dry your brushes, and wipe your makeup bag once each week with a bleach wipe.
All right, or wrong, a living will declaration states you do not want artificial measures to prolong life.
What do you think, Bob?
That's wrong.
Bob's going crazy. No, that's right. This is true.
No.
Thank you, Joe. Somebody is paying attention here. A living will tells your family and doctors that you only want comfort care only. So if this is what you wish, it's important to take care of this now before you're in a position to need this document. Our expert guests from Schraff and King know all of the special execution requirements so that the document says and does what you want it to do. Any more?
Oh, yes. Right or wrong, an immune-compromised patient is someone whose immune system is low and can catch a cold or infection easily.
What do you think about that,
Oh,
Bob?
that's right.
That is right. Anyone from a small infant to an older adult can have a weak immune system due to a variety of factors. The key is to recognize this and take extra precautions when around this person. Wash your hands, keep that person clean, keep their home clean, and eat healthy foods.
And the final one, right or wrong, the average lifespan of a dollar bill is 4.7 years before it's taken out of circulation.
What do you think, Bob?
I think that's right because I don't have many dollars.
No.
Well, actually, that is right.
It says no. You know what? That's just a turkey of a question.
That is. What a great way to end. Actually, that's right. Let's talk about dirty money. Money has been found to harbor bacteria, viruses, mold, and yeast, and even cocaine and heroin residue. So if a dollar bill has been around for 4.7 years, you might want to wash your hands after handling and use a sanitizing wipe on your purse or your wallet. Well, remember, the more you know, the safer you'll be. And you heard about it here on Speak Up and Stay Alive Radio. Well, thank you guys for playing everyone's favorite game.
Fear the wheelchair.
You are listening to Speak Up and Stay Alive Radio. I am Pat Rulo, where the boys and I are keeping you safe during any healthcare or hospital encounter. Today's O Moment is from our friends at the Hospice of the Western Reserve. If you or someone you know has a chronic disease that does not warrant hospice, you'll be interested to spend the next 2 minutes with Karen Vakasi, advanced practice nurse, as we discuss palliative care. Welcome to the show, Karen.
Happy to be here.
Karen, what is palliative care?
Palliative care focuses on relieving chronic symptoms and preventing patient suffering. It's appropriate for patients in all disease stages who are living with some type of chronic illness. Our palliative care team uses a team approach. Physicians, pharmacists, advanced practice nurses, social workers, and spiritual care coordinators who work together to relieve suffering in all areas of a patient's life. This approach allows the team to address physical, emotional, spiritual, and social concerns that arise with advanced illness.
How do people determine whether they might be a good candidate to receive palliative care? Are there any signs or symptoms to watch for?
Yes, there are. Frequent hospitalizations or trip to the ER within the past 6 months is one strong indicator. Patients who are experiencing unrelieved symptoms such as chronic pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, constipation, nausea, loss of appetite, and difficulty sleeping can also find relief of their symptoms through palliative care.
Are there any studies that show how effective palliative care is for patients?
Yes, a 2010 study in the New England Journal of Medicine reported that patients receiving palliative care in their homes survived an average of 11.6 years versus 9 years for patients receiving standard medical care. The study also showed a significant decrease in depression among patients receiving palliative care versus those who receive standard medical care.
And how is palliative care paid for?
For qualifying patients, palliative care is covered by Medicare, Medicaid, and most private insurance plans. Choosing palliative care is a very personal decision. If someone with a chronic illness thinks they may be able to benefit, we recommend they discuss the issue with their primary care physician and family to get their support. However, referrals do not need to be made by a doctor. Anyone can make a referral. At Hospice of the Western Reserve, they can call the referral line at 800-707-8921.
Well, thank you, Karen. To learn more about Hospice of the Western Reserve and the unique range of services it provides as a nonprofit agency, visit hospicewr.org. And once again, thanks, Karen.
Thank you, too.
You're listening to Speak Up and Stay Alive Radio. I am Pat Rulo, your hostess and author of the book Speak Up and Stay Alive, the Patient Advocate Hospital Survival Guide, which is available at our website, speakupandstayalive.com. And if you don't own a copy of this book, you are living dangerously. It goes hand in hand with this radio show. Each week, you pick up new ideas and safety tips as you listen to the show. But what happens if or when you or a loved one is faced with a hospital stay? Are you really going to remember everything you've heard on this show? Probably not. And so the book is your visual, your guide, your reminder of what the hazards are, how and why they happened, and what you can do to survive them. I'm not a medical person, so the book is not written with crazy medical jargon. It's easy to read, yet is packed with years of research and actual experiences that you can use and make your own. And you don't want to wait until you need the information, then it's too late. Order your copy today. I'll even sign it for you and send you 5 icebreaker cards that you can hand to your healthcare providers to ask them to wash their hands before touching you. Order at the website, speakupandstayalive.com, or if you don't have access to the internet, call me, 440-725-5462. And now for my personal oh moment that I know will cause you to say oh. Well, this causes me to say oh, too. After our holiday party, I got coerced into doing this silly little 12-day of Christmas rendition for you. So here it is.
On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 12
microfiber cleaning cloths,
11
hand gel sanitizers,
10
bleach wipes wiping,
9
ladies cleaning,
8
maids disinfecting,
7
pillbox organizers,
6
rubber glovies,
5
icebreaker cards,
4
kind words,
3
patient safety logs,
2
clean hands, and of course, a Speak Up and Stay Alive book. Found at speakupandstayalive.com. And if you want us to come live to any of your events, we do speaking events, serious information. We deliver it with some wit and humor so that you do have a good time. Please check the calendar page at the speakupandstayalive.com website to see where we currently are speaking. If you want to book us to speak to any of your groups, clubs, businesses, or organizations, contact us at speakupandstayalive.com, or you can call me directly, 440-725-5462. Today, we talked about miscommunication during a hospital stay, and I gave you 6 tips to help avoid miscommunication mishaps. There are so many opportunities for a mistake to happen, so be especially mindful during times of transition or handoffs when your care transfers from one party to another. Sometimes, the more people involved, the more likely a mistake can happen. And our guest, attorney, patient advocate, and hospital advisor, Lisa Venn, shared some of her thoughts about how to safely hire an advocate, as well as additional ways to stay safe during a hospital stay. And we took you along to a holiday party and shared some foolishness with you. Oh, and by the way, we are growing. In addition to our Cleveland shows, we will now be heard in Phoenix, Arizona, beginning in January. What a great way to start the new year. So tell all of your Arizona friends that Speak Up and Stay Alive Radio can soon be heard on KKNT AM 960 The Patriot. Check the speakupandstayalive.com website for details. And let me extend a special thank you to some of the beautiful people who helped to sponsor this program. Hospice of the Western Reserve, the attorneys at Schraff and King, and Darrel Hicks, Infection Prevention for Dummies. I proudly support them and appreciate their expertise, and I certainly encourage you to contact them for all of your healthcare and legal needs. And finally, I wish each of you and your families a peaceful holiday season. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and of course, a happy and healthy New Year. And remember, you can listen to today's show again and again, or any other show that you missed. Just visit the radio link at the speakupandstayalive.com website. Come back next week and invite your friends. That's next Saturday morning, where you can find us 2 times. Yep, that's twice. From 7 to 8 Eastern on 1420 WHK, and from 9 to 10 Eastern on WHKW, that's AM 1220. Or listen live via the internet on WHKradio.com at 7 and WHKWradio.com at 9. I am Pat Rouleau, and I am your guide to safe and successful healthcare and hospital encounters.
The information provided in today's broadcast is for informational purposes only and was not intended for use as diagnosis or treatment of a health problem or as a substitute for consulting a licensed medical professional. Participating as a program listener, guest, or caller should not be considered medical advice. References to any entity, product, service, website, or source of information should not be considered as an endorsement. If you missed part of today's show or just want to share the information with friends, you can download a copy of the show at speakupandstayalive.com. That's speakupandstayalive.com. Want even more information? Purchase a copy of Pat's book at the Speak Up and Stay Alive website. Once again, it's speakupandstayalive.com.
This is Pat Rouleau. When you get a chance, become a friend and like us on Facebook. We're called Speak Up and Stay Alive. Then post your questions and comments on our Facebook wall. We may read them next week. Who else do you know who can benefit from this life-saving information? You can keep your group, club, business, or church safe from hospital hazards. I speak live and in person, too. Our events are fun, fast-paced, interactive, and jam-packed with serious information. Your crowd will love it. Just email me at speakupandstayalive.com or call 440-725-5462. Until next week, remember to ask others to wash their hands. You have to speak up and stay alive. Call me, email me.